Hey everybody, and welcome back to Chill Tech. So I want to do a comparison video between the S22 Ultra that I've been using for just a couple of days and the Galaxy Z Fold 3, which has been my main device ever since it came out. And both of these devices are really good. You can't go wrong with either one of these devices, but there are a few differences. I think it's going to be something to take note of if you're trying to pick between a Galaxy Z Fold device or an S22 device. Now I'll start off with the displays, and as you can see, both of these devices look really good. Okay, so if you're wondering, well, which device is going to look better, I think they both look really good. They're both 120 frames per second when it comes to the displays, but they actually have two completely different purposes, and I feel like that's really the theme for both of these devices. Now if you're into emulation, then the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is going to be completely unmatched, and I'll show you what I mean here. Now I was actually playing I loaded up Mario Kart just to kind of show you what does that look like side by side here when it comes to emulation on both of these devices. They're both going to look good, but you'll be able to see very quickly just how this display looks, and that's because a lot of games from back then, and you know, emulation is largely about playing old school games, and so this screen ratio, it looks so good. So side by side, you can see which one looks better. I press A on both of these here. So with the gamepad, I mean, this looks so much better. This looks good, but nothing is going to compare to the Z Fold 3 when it comes to emulation. To me, this is the emulator king. So if you're really into playing emulator games, definitely, without question, it's going to be super smooth and run really well right here on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Now, something else to keep in mind when it comes to the displays is there is a crease here, but unless you're like in light, and you can kind of see it here too, depending on the lighting, you'll see stuff. You still get a glare here on the S22 depending on where you're sitting. I will say you kind of get that extra glare here with the crease. The crease doesn't bother me really. I will say probably it's just something to keep in mind really. And I think sometimes if you pull out your pocket, you might have some dust inside of it, but it's just a quick wipe. It's not really a big deal. So display wise, if you are reading comics or if you're browsing the web on the Z Fold 3, it's going to look really good. Web pages and all of those kind of things, watching movies, even the old school ones like Tom and Jerry, is going to take up the full display. It's going to look really good. So where does the S22 lie when it comes to the display? What I like about the S22 is that everything is going to fit the way it's supposed to. And so that is something when it comes to your thinking. Maybe you're somebody who likes to look at a social media or TikTok or YouTube stories or anything, Instagram. Those is going to be a whole lot better here. So purely if it comes to gaming, I'm going to say that the Z Fold 3 is still my favorite gaming device, especially when it comes to emulation. Now, if you're talking about social media and you're looking at something like, I guess we can go into YouTube. So let's see here. So I have YouTube loaded up here, and as you can see, they both look really good. If you to click on a video, of course it's going to look bigger here on the Z Fold 3, and it's going to look good still here, but let's compare the sizes of it. Let's go ahead and load up the same video. So this is full screen here on the S22 Ultra, and this here is going to be, you can have it either like that or you can have it full display. So let's say you want it to be like this here. That's what they're gonna look like. I would say, so the S22 Ultra is a little bit longer when it comes to the actual display, and it's gonna be, but it's a little bit shorter. So that's that. Let's see if I can, well, I guess I might as well play it on both of them. It's a longer video. The other thing that you could do here is you can actually make it full display. Are you going to lose some details? Well, yeah, as far as edges off the sides of both the videos. But does it still look really good? Well, yeah, this still looks great to watch videos on. And if you don't mind this aspect ratio, things look great. However, are you losing some information? Well, yeah, but you're still losing a little bit too if you zoom it all the way in over here. So see how the hearts disappear here? So if you're just watching it straight, which one is going to be the bigger you know, display to actually watch this on? Well, the Z Fold 3 is going to be better for watching videos, movies, in my opinion. If I had one device to watch it on, it would be the Z Fold 3. So if you love watching movies and videos, the Z Fold 3 is going to be better in this area. Now, probably one area where I would say the Z Fold 3, I don't think is more ideal. It's going to be if you're actually like looking at stories, okay? And this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, if you're looking at stories. So let's see, can we find some kind of story? Oh, shorts, here we go. Just click on shorts. I wish I had the same short I could play. There we go, this is perfect. So this looks good over here, and this looks good here, but you can see where just a little bit of stuff is cut off on the Z Fold 3. Is it a deal breaker? No, it still looks fantastic up here. I still think that looking at stories here is really good. Is there a negative of you actually missing a little bit of information? Yeah, and depending on if there's something important or there's some text or something down here or up here, this is how the actual full image looks. Like his head was cut off a moment ago, and this is going to be this one here. You see here how this top is cut off? You don't know what this says at the top here. Versus over here, you can get the full display. So this is really the actual, you know, intended view for this here versus over here. So I think that looking at shorts and TikToks, if you're really into that heavy, then it's going to be better on a phone that's going to have this kind of aspect ratio, which is, you know, going to be here on the S22 series devices and pretty much most phones. Let's see, can I turn to the side and get the full? Nope. So this is what I mean. So there will be those scenarios. Now, what about cameras? So when it comes to cameras, this is where the S22 is very strong at, because the front-facing camera here on the S22 is 40 megapixels. The front-facing camera here on the Z Fold 3 is 4 megapixels. But you might say, well, you can still close it and you'll have this front-facing camera. Well, this is going to be 10 megapixels here on this front display. And so no matter what, the front-facing camera is going to be a whole lot better when it comes to here on the S22. Now, another thing also to keep in mind is that the cameras on the back when it comes to the S22 Ultra are going to be a whole lot better too, because they're at 108 megapixels. Versus here on the Z Fold 3, you're going to have a triple 12 megapixel setup. And this still takes good pictures now. It still takes good, but which one is better? Well, these cameras are better. Not only is the cameras better on the S22 Ultra, a lot better, but they also have the 100x zoom. So the whole camera package completely, especially if you're a content creator or just somebody who really wants the best camera that they can get, is, in my opinion, for sure, you know, going to be here on the S22 Ultra. Now, what about S Pens? So the Z Fold 3, you can actually use an S Pen, but let's say you're in a scenario where you actually you're out somewhere and you want to jot something down. Well, there's two things. One, there's no place to hold the S Pen here on the Z Fold 3. So you're gonna have to take the S Pen out of your pocket, you know, unsheath it. And then you can't write with the S Pen on the main display. So you're then gonna have to open it and then go ahead and start writing, or navigate to the Samsung Notes or whatever application that you want to write in. So the S Pen experience, it works up here. It's great that it has a bigger canvas. I haven't heard people really complaining about the crease part, although I have seen a couple YouTube videos where some people have mentioned it's not a huge deal, but of course they prefer for it to not be there, so it's still going to be a better experience, you know, drawn on a tablet or something like that, which I would say would probably be true for this too. But the convenience of the S Pen is still a whole lot greater here on the S22 Ultra, because you have the S Pen that you can take right out of the bottom of the phone, so you always have it with you. The other cool thing is, let's say you are somewhere and you want to jot down a quick note. The S22 Ultra actually has the screen off memo, so you can actually take your phone out and go ahead and start writing something. So this is a whole lot more convenient You know, once you're finished, you could save it, go ahead and put it back. You're still in your lock screen, you know, put your phone back in your pocket or whatever, and you can keep on going. So the S Pen experience, in my opinion, is a whole lot better here on the S22 Ultra versus here on the Z Fold 3. Now, let's go ahead and talk about software. If you're somebody who wants to get the latest software on your Galaxy device sooner, and you don't want to have to wait, then the S series devices often get the updates for like One UI 4 or 3. They came out first on the S series devices, and so here on the Z Fold 3, you're just gonna have to wait a couple months until after, while they work out different stuff. Because remember, there's extra features here with like flex mode and stuff that they're gonna have to add to the Z Fold 3's version. So if you care a lot about, I want the software to come out and I want it to be available to me, I want to go ahead and try beta testing and stuff as soon as possible, I'm gonna want different software features first. Like when Samsung Free came out, which is like the TV and that whole stuff that Samsung has, it came out first on the S series devices, and it took months for it to actually come out on the Z Fold series devices. So, you know, those are two different scenarios talking about software, who's getting it first and who's getting to enjoy it sooner. Even though you pay a lot of money for both of these devices, the software experience, in my opinion, when it comes to software updates and new features, a lot of it is going to, if history repeats itself, going to be here on the S series device instead of the Z Fold. When you get the Z Fold, you're certainly getting it for the folding factor, because this is really two different classes of devices, really. So, you know, comparing them is interesting because you get a really, really good smartphone here, and here you have a new line of products, really, but you have the folding tablet line of devices. So this is a smartphone, but it's really, it feels more like a tablet with smartphone capabilities. So this feels more like a I won't say a smart tablet, but it feels like a folding tablet. And this one feels like a really good smartphone. I think when it comes to accessories and overall protection of the device, it's going to be a whole lot better here. Like I have a case on this S22 Ultra, and you can find cases and accessories here, but I just see that there's so many more accessories for the S22 Ultra versus the Z Fold 3, and they're just a little bit more convenient. Like there's a lot of cases, but they're either going to bulk up your device here on the Z Fold 3, or it's going to leave your hinge exposed, and so you're not gonna, you can fully protect the device, but it's either going to make it more of a brick, just bigger and heavier, versus here you can get like slim cases. There's so many more manufacturers making cases for like the S series device. Part of that is because this is the Z series is newer, but also I think it's just easier probably for companies to actually make stuff for. I do wish that the Z Fold 3 had a lot more accessories and stuff and options, but again, if you're into different accessories and you want to just be able to go into Best Buy or Target or somewhere and go ahead and get you cases and screen protectors right while you're out taking care of other errands, there's gonna be a really good chance that you can grab something for your S22, and there's a really good chance that you won't find a lot of stuff except for like Best Buy for the Z Fold 3. So anyways, I hope this was a very quick comparison for you all who are considering picking between these two devices. Ultimately, it boils down to use cases. If you're really into taking pictures, you want the best camera, you want software as soon as it's available, you want a very comfortable form factor that's very quick and easy to use, you want a super convenient S Pen to be housed right inside of the device, and you want all the applications to fit and work the way that it's intended to on your device, so you're not going to be losing information because of the aspect ratio, then the S22 Ultra is going to be the way to go. And also, if you want the most storage possible, you know, there's no SD cards in either one of these, but you can actually get the S22 Ultra in 1 terabyte. So that is a plus. Now, if you're somebody who loves gaming and you love having a funkier device that looks unlike so many other phones that you're used to having in the past, the Z Fold 3 is amazing. This screen and display is still unmatched for any smartphone. I absolutely love using it. I think this is a very cool device, and even though I have the S22 Ultra, it doesn't make me completely want to toss my Z Fold 3. Like, I'm still considering keeping the Z Fold 3, even though I really like the S22 Ultra. So that tells you just how good the Z Fold 3 actually is. There are features here on the S22 Ultra that I really appreciate and like, and I'm happy that I'll finally be able to have, such as software updates, such as something that's important to me, which is YouTube Shorts. I can't make YouTube Shorts natively inside of the YouTube app here. You have to go somewhere else, and then you have to import a special way for if you do all of your productivity here on the Z Fold 3. However, you can do stuff, so software-wise, you can go ahead and just make YouTube Shorts right here on the S22 Ultra, and you still can't do that on the Z Fold 3. So I just think in general there will be certain applications or features that you might find missing on the Z Fold 3. Could be because it's a different line of device, because it's a newer line of devices, but I kind of like that on the S22 Ultra I'm going to be getting applications fit in the way that they're supposed to without anything being cut off. But however, the Z Fold 3, when it comes to emulation and gaming, I still love, because when applications fit and work, it really works so much better here than on any other smartphone. Some of the experiences that you can have here with different applications and games, and just this size is kind of like a mini iPad, where if you're reading something like a book or you're looking at comics, it's so nice here on the Z Fold 3. So I don't think that any one of these devices are actually outright better than the other one. I do think that they serve two completely different purposes and have two completely different audiences. I could see why a person would say, the Z Fold 3 was a bit too much to handle for me. Not that it's so great that I can't handle it, but just it's missing things that are important to me. Maybe like the YouTube Shorts, or maybe I can't stand it. I can't simply protect my device or go to a store and get accessories for it. Maybe the dust, the lack of dust resistance is bugging you here on the Z Fold 3. Who knows? It's everybody has different preferences, and maybe the S22 Ultra might say, well, no, I mean, look at this display. Then you're going to be going for something like the Z Fold 3, of course, because this screen is still one of the best displays ever, even with this aspect ratio. So much content viewing is so just really, really cool here on a Z Fold 3 versus on a regular candy bar style phone. So I totally understand when some people say, I can never go back to a regular phone after having a Z Fold 3. Multitasking, flex mode, the way that you can take pictures and use the cover display, those things are really, really cool features to have on the Z Fold 3, and you're not going to have that on a regular candy bar phone here like the S22 Ultra. So again, in my opinion, they serve two completely different purposes. This is not a versus video, it's just more of a comparison and things to keep in mind of what's important to you as a consumer. What's the things that you like consuming. Ultimately, I think Samsung has just built two really fantastic smartphones and I love that you have options with them to have devices that look different and do different features instead of everyone just looks the same, but just have different screen sizes. So I really like Samsung approach to this, and I really appreciate that you actually have the option to pick between a folding tablet or a really good smartphone.